Ladies and gentlemen, the Tiempo Legend 9 Elite in the firm ground variation is finally here. All right, we're gonna hop straight into the unboxing because this is something that I've been waiting for a really long time, and then we'll go into why it took so long to get here. So here we go. Jumping straight into the unboxing, this is the black, iron gray, and blue. There's like a beautiful blue color. Here we go. All right, typical silver Nike box for all the elite models. Has this awesome Nike football written in a ton of different languages on the outside. Oh, so good. Wow, these are so different from what the Tiempo I remember is. So this is a completely revamped Tiempo. They sort of went backwards in technology for the sake of simplicity and to make all of the Tiempo enthusiasts really happy. This is a majority leather upper, so it's actually got a ton of leather, way more than something like a Copa Sense point 0.1 or Copa Sense Plus model, which I think is fantastic. It's a redesigned sole plate that's not so different from the previous generation, but it's lighter and more responsive to help get you in the right direction. It's also the lightest Tiempo that has ever been made, so that's something to consider as well. Even lighter than one of those Tiempo 3 or 4 Elites back when they did the carbon fiber sole plate. So a beautiful black colorway. So here they are. I'm gonna move the box out of the way for a little bit. I'll show you guys the string sack in a little bit. But yeah, so this is the Tiempo Legend 9. So this took so long to get to me because I actually ordered from one website, had to cancel the order, and then actually had to reorder from a different website in order to get this particular color in. This color sold out so quickly in so many different places that it was very hard to get my hands on a pair. I finally found some at Unisport, which is the Danish company that I love so much, and they happen to have a couple pairs in my size. I only bought one pair, obviously, because I'm using the Phantom GTs, but if these fit really well and as like a backup leather pair that I can knock balls around in, these might be an awesome pair of boots. So the leather upper is a lot thicker than something like a Mizuno or something like even the Copa Sense Plus. To be fair, they do have the pods, like these almost Sense pods. Not obviously that's the Adidas thing, but they've got the foam inserts on the inside, and a lot of people compared these to the Magista Obra series, or excuse me, not the Magista Obra, the CTR series, where they had those inserts on the forefoot and the midfoot for the passing. These got something very similar on the toe box, and then on the inside, that medial side for the sort of passing elements, there's this little grip on it as well. I'll show you on the above camera. You can kind of see those little dimples almost on these passing patterns, and then the rest of this upper is just a beautiful kangaroo leather upper. Again, it's got a flexible mesh tongue, which is super nice. It's not something that I've ever seen. Obviously, it's been done in the Tiempo before, but it's not something that I have experienced in real life. I've tried the Tiempo 8 Elites on, the one generation right before this, and I thought they were okay boots, but I didn't like them for a couple different reasons. One being they were not really that responsive, and the quad fit, which is the same technology that was used in the Phantom Vision, that technology made it not feel like a leather boot. So if I'm gonna buy a leather boot, I want it to feel like a leather boot. That's why I love those Mizuno Rebula cups so much, is because it's totally leather. In fact, I think this actually might have more leather than that boot, because this leather wraps all the way around, from back here all the way around. The only things that aren't leather are the back, the heel counter, like the material that comes around the heel counter, and then this Nike swoosh, which happens to be in a really good position for a little bit of lateral stability. So we'll see how that fits and feels on feet once we get to that portion of the video. But these I am super, super excited about. I absolutely love the colorway. Let's get the other one out of the box as well so you can see. So again, the delivered from the future in a cardboard box with the Nike logo on that paper. Somebody was asking about that the other day, so that's what that says. There's the other boot. Perfect, beautiful condition. And then inside the box, you get another string bag. I'll throw this paper inside, get this out of the way for a little bit. So I think this looks really, really cool. So it's got the new Tiempo logo on it, which is this circle with a line through it. I'm not sure what that means really. And then it's got these radiating silver spirals. And then it's got Tiempo with this really cool patterning. So I'll show that to you guys on the above camera. So there's that Tiempo logo, really cool with all these different patterns in a subtle silver color that's not metallic, it's sort of a matte silver. And then on the other side, you've got the Nike swoosh here with the new Tiempo logo, and then these silver lines, the same thing radiating out. So very cool. I'd give this one a pretty high score actually. I think this is like a 7 out of 10 as far as like basic string bags go that you get in the box. I don't really use them that often because I either use boot bags or I just throw the boots in the bag, but there you go. Now you have it. So here they are in hand, and I will say they actually are surprisingly light for a leather boot. I think they are really nice and soft. It's definitely a quality kangaroo leather upper. I'm gonna take these little mesh or paper things out just so you guys can see sort of the softness of the upper. So here we go, and the boot is really, really soft leather. Obviously, it's not gonna rival something like a Mizuno boot just because that quality is so much better. Not so much better, I would say, but definitely better than something like a Tiempo. So it feels like, for me, all right, sorry guys for the interruption. Okay, so this is that Tiempo right there. Ooh, it's getting a little warm. So the mesh, this like Flyknit mesh tongue area goes to about where this Nike swoosh is. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a Nike swoosh right there. And so the mesh goes about right there and then only goes on either side of this lacing system, which I think is a great idea because what it does is, one, provides that sort of seamless sensation between the leather and that tongue area without any slippage back and forth. I know a lot of players do prefer prefer the traditional tongue. I actually think not having a traditional tongue is really nice. Hence one of the reasons why I love those Phantom Venoms that I wear full time for training and games and stuff, is because they have the integrated tongue into them with the Flyknit. So that's awesome as well. These are such a beautiful black color with that blue. I think they call it something different. They call it like a iron gray or something like that, which doesn't make any sense to me. And there's a little bit of peeling already in the material. That's a bummer. Oh, you know what? No, it's not. Never mind. Something on the back. So these are fantastic looking. I think these look, it's a really nice refresh to have a Tiempo go, yes, back in technology, so to speak, but more in line with the Tiempo line. And I'm really curious to know how these fit because I wore Tiempos back when it was at Gen 4, and I wore a pair of red and black Tiempo Legend 4s. I'll put them up on screen if I can find a photo of them. And those were fantastic. I loved the way those fit. They were very classic, all leather boot, no BS in the entire construction of it, and they lasted forever. Loved those, and they had mostly conical studs, which is awesome. Speaking of the sole plate, we are going to jump into that really quick. So you've got bladed studs, chevron here, bladed back in the 4 in the back, and then conical for 6 studs right here. And they're sort of like a Pac-Man looking shape, which I don't really know what that does, but it's basically a conical stud. I mean, there's really no, the Pac-Man part of that is this tiny little groove on the inside of 4 of these studs. So you've got 6 conical studs, you've got 6 bladed studs, and a chevron stud up top here for a little bit of grip on your big toe. The sole plate is pretty flexible, actually. It's probably about as flexible as you want it to be. Would I like a little stiffer sole plate? Yeah, maybe. We'll see how they fit on the natural grass surface in my backyard, because that's probably what I'll be wearing them most of the time, if not on artificial turf, but we'll see how this sole plate goes and how flexible it feels. To be honest, in a Tiempo, I'm not really looking for crazy explosive speed or anything like that. That's what a speed boot for, right? Like that's what a speed boot's for. If you're buying a Tiempo Legend 9 Elite, especially in the firm ground variation, what you're looking for is a boot that's got a fantastic leather touch. It's got great technology in it, even despite the leather. So it's got that foam, those foam pods on the inside for a little bit extra padded feel. You're getting an extra padded feel from the leather to begin with. And then of course you'll get an even more padded feel with these little inserts. A great heel lockdown. You're looking for mostly conical studs because you're looking as maybe a playmaker, or you're looking for a little bit more of a classic fit and feel, and that's what this sole plate provides, I think, even though it's super light and seems to be a really nice construction with this kind of what most companies are doing now with this rib on the inside going along the bottom part of your foot, so you get a little bit more energy return through that midfoot area on the bottom. As far as width is concerned, I'm pretty sure these will fit most people. You guys know I have excessively wide feet. Tiempo should fit me pretty well. Yes, there'll be some break-in time because it's a leather boot. Once they're broken in though, these should fit like a glove, and I'm really excited to see how these ones fit. I am going to make a prediction that I'm going to like these better than the Copa Sense Plus and Point 1 that I've reviewed, which you can check out those reviews on my channel as well. And I think I might like these actually better than the Mizuno Rebula Cups. Now, some of you may be screaming and being like, you said this was the best leather boot on the market. I believe it is objectively the best leather boot on the market. However, if these fit my feet better and I like the way that this seamless tongue fits better, this wins, right? So you just have to think about, okay, is it an objective thing? Yes, we all know Mizuno's quality of leather is better than everyone else on the market, but per person, it's going to depend what you prefer. Do you prefer a Tiempo style that's a little bit higher tech? It's got really nice sole plate stuff, and it's got the seamless sensation, kind of like what they did with the upgrade on the Morelian Neo 3 betas. They put that mesh, their version of a knit tongue on the inside, so it was a seamless sensation there. So that's something just to consider, right? These are going to weigh in probably around the 7.5 to 8 ounce mark. My guess is it's not going to be noticeable compared to the last generation. These are the lightest ones they've ever made, so it is going to be really light, but they're not going to be anything insane, right? So just be aware, this is a Tiempo, this is a leather boot. If you're going on the market for a great leather boot, you're going to want to try this one out for sure if you can do it in stores. So that's something to consider as well. And yeah, without further ado, guys, let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video. I'm very excited to try these on. Let's hop outside, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Testing, testing. All right, fam, I've got the boots with me here. So I'm in my backyard, as you guys can see. I'm going to get these, a little bit of wet from the photos I was taking earlier, but that's okay. I'm gonna get these unlaced. And something to consider when buying a pair of boots right now, especially with the market the way it is. And what I mean by that is supply chain demand, especially with the unfortunate world situation that we're in right now. There's seemingly much less availability for top-end boots. I've seen things go out of stock faster than I ever have. That also could be the world moving into more of an online shopping instead of the in-person. Like 2 or 3 of the local soccer shops don't exist in Seattle anymore, and I think part of that is a lot of the online stuff. So that's why I suggest the online for you guys, just in case you want something quicker, you can get them online. So, all right, here we go. I'm very excited to see how these fit and feel. I totally forgot to tell you guys, this is a size 9 US, my normal size. I went size 9 because they are leather, so even if they're a little snug right away, they are gonna stretch. I'm not wearing grip socks right now, but that is for a reason. These socks are a lot thinner than my usual ones, and I wanna make sure that I get a good quality fit. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, wow, okay. So you guys will have tons of like B-roll over what I'm talking about right now with close-ups of how these fit and feel. I put my foot inside them and already they fit like an absolute glove, like 100% like a glove right away. So comfortable. I'm gonna put this other one on and go from there. I am really impressed with how these feel. Right out of the box, they are one of the most comfortable shoes that I've tried on of recent. And I mean that very genuinely. I think for a leather boot, oftentimes you have a really tight sensation right away because it is leather. They want to make them maybe the upper a little bit less material or a little bit smaller so that there's some stretch period or break-in period for the player and then it doesn't overstretch. But my goodness, guys, these are so comfortable straight out of the box. As I mentioned before, the sole plate feels great. You've got lots of mobility. You've got, I think, just the right amount of spring to your step, which is fantastic. These foam pods, you can feel a little bit. You don't really feel them when you're in the boot, but I imagine when you're kicking a ball, that will be awesome. So I'll post definitely a review like a month from now about these as like a, hey, I've trained in them and I've actually done a lot of stuff with these Tiempos. Here's my thoughts a month later, 2 months out, just to give you guys an idea of what these boots are, because I know Tiempos are a very, very popular shoe and it's something to consider when looking at when you're looking at boot reviews. Obviously, as a reviewer and as a pro player, I can say, hey, I currently play professional soccer at the highest level I'm able to, so I can imagine what these would feel like on feet, but then it's a whole nother thing to say, hey, I've actually played with these for a month, here's what I think, right? So, but as far as I'm concerned, these boots are so comfortable. I feel a little tiny bit of pressure right where the laces happen, and I'll point this out in the B-roll, but there's a little elastic band at the top that I don't really think needs to be there. I'm sure it's there just for reinforcement and just to have as like a, you know, just to make sure that that mesh doesn't fray or doesn't tear or anything like that. But man, these Tiempos are so comfortable right out of the box. I genuinely think these would be an absolute blast to play in. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of these. The Tiempo Legend 9 Elite, by far a better boot than the Tiempo Legend 8 Elites that I tried on. Never reviewed them, obviously, because I could never get my hands on a pair because we were in that sort of middle period of moving from Australia and all that stuff. But these are awesome. There's no space on the outside of my ankle. I mean, there is, obviously, when I force my hand in there, but there's no space that I can see right now, which is huge for me. So that's something to consider as well. I hate when I have a little bit of sticky, like when the material kind of bends and you can stick your foot in that. The Puma Ultra 1.1 and 1.2 did that. And yes, I love those boots, but that was the one thing that I hated the most, is there was so much material in the upper. That being said, as far as a leather boot goes, out of the box comfort, better than the Mizuno's for my foot shape. Again, I have a really wide midfoot and a really wide toe box. So for more of a boxy shape, these fit me much better than the Rebula Cups do just out the box. We'll see how they break in, obviously. And then I would say these are also definitely more comfortable, like across the board, from the Puma, or excuse me, from the Adidas Copa Sense line. The Sense Plus were more comfortable for me than the Sense Point 1, but the Copa Sense Plus are a laceless boot, so they fit super snug right out of the box, and so you kind of have to break them in. I actually went for a training session and trained in them, as you guys saw in the most recent review of those boots, the black and gold ones. But these are far more comfortable. I can tie them tighter if I want them tighter. I can loosen them, but it still has the same structure to it with that mesh, where the tongue, like mesh in the tongue area. So these are going to be awesome for just all sorts of playing. You've got players like Virgil van Dijk, Gerard Piqué, tons of other, Lacazette now wears Tiempos every once in a while. So you've got a ton of really high-class players who all wear Tiempos, and there's a reason. It's a classic football boot. It's super comfortable. It's a leather upper, so you get a custom fit no matter what type of foot shape you are, and I think these will be suitable for most foot types. The one thing that I do really appreciate about this boot as well is that it's got a really low volume toe box, meaning that instead of it being really boxy and then coming down, it's got a really pointed toe, and so your toes can really get into the front of the boot, and so I feel like I'll have a much better touch on the ball, or at least a feel for the ball. Obviously, I'm the one with the touch, not the boots, but I'll be able to feel the ball, especially when dribbling, when shooting, because there's less material and it's more of a pointed, much more streamlined sensation in the toe box, which I absolutely love. I really don't like when boots have a huge voluminous toe box area, because then there's way too much wiggle room with my toes, and I want my toes just to be snug in there and really low profile. So that's it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for joining me for this review and on feet of the Tiempo Legend 9 Elite. It is about time. Obviously, there was a back order, and I finally got the boots in, and I'm absolutely thrilled at how they fit and feel on feet. They are fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to training in these and letting you guys know in a month or two how these actually perform over the course of the next couple months. So that's it for the video again. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.